Welcome to our channel, where we explore the 15 most famous Salvador Dalí paintings. Before we get started, be sure to give that like button a little love and hit subscribe to stay in the loop for future exciting content. 1. The Great Masturbator, 1929. This is one of the most famous Salvador Dalí's surrealist paintings, and this art mainly represents the artist's fear of female sexuality and castration. Nevertheless, it also highlights the potential to attain sexual and spiritual liberation. The most famous element in this painting is the grasshopper, which depicts Dalí's fear of insects. Currently displayed in Museo Nacional Centro de Arte Reina Sofía, Madrid, this painting is still considered one of his most notable works. 2. The Persistence of Memory, 1931. One can't delve into Salvador Dalí's works without first pausing at his iconic painting, The Persistence of Memory. This piece is a quintessential representation of Dalí's exploration of the fluidity and irrationality of time. It features limp, melting watches that seem to defy the laws of physics, challenging traditional views of time as fixed and orderly. Dalí's use of soft watches was influenced by Albert Einstein's theory of relativity, an insight that transformed our understanding of time and space. In this disconcerting landscape, time doesn't merely tick away, it bends, melts, and even decays. The ants crawling over the pocket watch, a symbol of decay or a fear of infestation, is a reflection of Dalí's personal anxieties. 3. Swans Reflecting Elephants, 1937. Swans Reflecting Elephants is a fascinating example of Dalí's mastery of double imagery, a technique that became a staple in his artistic repertoire. The painting features a serene landscape with 3 swans on a tranquil lake. But in their reflections, the graceful swans morph into weighty elephants, creating a surreal transformation that challenges the viewer's perception of reality. This powerful illusion showcases Dalí's ability to distort reality intentionally. It's a reflection of his paranoid critical method, a process he developed where he would induce a paranoid state in himself to create multiple images out of one and the same configuration. This method was Dalí's unique contribution to surrealist techniques and was greatly admired by his contemporaries, including the influential surrealist Andrew Breton. 4. The Temptation of St. Anthony, 1946. Known for his surrealism art, Salvador Dalí drew the naked man in this painting as St. Anthony, who appears to be struggling with several temptations. One of these is portrayed in the form of a horse. However, all these temptations must be avoided by St. Anthony, using the cross to ward off vision. You can find it in the Royal Museums of Fine Arts of Belgium at this point. 5. Young Virgin Auto-Sodomized by the Horns of Her Chastity, 1954. During the 1950s, most of Salvador Dalí's surrealism paintings featured rhinoceros horns. In this painting, the artist depicted a young virgin with her back face to the viewer and 2 rhinoceros horns floating beneath. Since the horns usually comprise and threaten to sodomize the figure, this painting shows how she gets effectively sodomized by her constitution. This painting is located in the Playboy Mansion now. 6. The Disintegration of the Persistence of Memory, 1954. This was painted as a response to the previously mentioned Surrealism Salvador painting, The Persistence of Memory. This can be called a recreation of that painting, as there are many of the same elements. However, this painting marked how Dalí lost his interest in surrealism and became intrigued by physics, mainly the quantum world. You can now find this painting in St. Peter, Florida, in the Salvador Dalí Museum. 7. Spider of the Evening, 1940. This was more of a violent continuation of The Persistence of Memory and famously included melting clocks. By this surrealism art, Dalí tried to show the omnipresence of time and how it masters the habits of a human being. It is said that the inspiration arises from a surreal interpretation of how the cheese melts in the sun. 8. Galatea of the Spheres, 1952. This painting is the perfect example of how Salvador Dalí mimicked the aesthetical structure of DNA. In this painting, he parodied the molecular structure of human beings. This mainly represents his newfound interest in science and theories relating to the disintegration of an atom. 9. Dream caused by the flight of a bee around a pomegranate, a second before awakening, 1944. more commonly known as the dream caused by the flight of a bee. The woman in this painting is said to be his wife, Galatea. The pomegranate in this painting is a Christian symbol of resurrection and fertility, and the bee above that symbolizes the Virgin. The distant seascape is also a much-argued symbol by art enthusiasts and critics. You can now find this painting in the Thyssen-Bornemisza Museum, located in Madrid. 10. Christ of St. John of the Cross, 1951. A drawing mainly inspired this painting of Dalí. He was tripping on ecstasy, a common drug found with Dalí, while he had this vision of Christ. It depicts Jesus Christ on the cross, with a dark sky as the background floating over water with fishermen in a boat. This is currently presented as the collection of Kelvin Grove Art Gallery and Museum, Glasgow. This is the perfect example of Salvador Dalí's surrealism. 11. Soft construction with boiled beans, Premonition of Civil War, 1936. Salvador Dalí created this piece to depict the horrors faced during the Spanish Civil Wars. However, the interesting fact about this painting is that it was painted only 6 months prior to the actual war. He later said that he was aware of a war beginning. Located in the Philadelphia Museum of Art, this is a must-visit if you are a fan of Dalí's work. 12. The Ghost of Vermeer of Delft, which can be used as a table, 1934. When compared to his other paintings, this was a rather small oil painting. It takes inspiration from the art of painting, which was done by a 17th century painter. It was Dalí's take on this self-portrait of Vermeer. This is one of Dalí's several compositions, showcasing his huge admiration for Vermeer with his back to us. This painting is located with the Disintegration of the Persistence of Memory in the Salvador Dalí Museum in Florida. 13. The Burning Giraffe, 1937. The Burning Giraffe is one of Dalí's most prominent works, painted during the twilight of the Spanish Civil War in 1937. The painting vividly embodies Dalí's concerns about war and destruction, specifically the looming specter of World War II, which he described as the masculine cosmic apocalyptic monster. The painting's titular burning giraffe is an image that is both disturbing and surreal, which Dalí interpreted as a premonition of war. The feminine figures with drawers in their bodies suggest Dalí's interest in Sigmund Freud's psychoanalysis, specifically the idea of the unconscious mind being a repository of secrets and concealed desires. Freud's influence on Dalí and other surrealists cannot be overstated. They saw in Freud's theories a scientific validation of their own explorations of dream states and irrationality. 14. Metamorphosis of Narcissus, 1937. Dalí was undoubtedly one of the biggest fans of Sigmund Freud's work. During their meeting, he thought of bringing this painting along to discuss the psychoanalytical theory of narcissism and the concept of paranoia. On seeing this painting, he was also permitted to sketch Freud himself. 15. The Elephants, 1948. Dalí's impression of elephants is usually portrayed with multi-jointed, long, and rather invisible legs of desires, carrying loads on their backs. These animals are used to represent the future and also as a symbol of strength. Most of Dalí's paintings show elephants carrying obelisks. These are considered to be a symbol of domination and power in Salvador Dalí's surrealism. Please support and show appreciation by hitting super thanks. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more content. We appreciate you being part of our community. Until next time, take care and stay awesome.